My name is Marco Spagnolli. I'm a system engineer at OHB System AG. We are a large system integrator company building satellites based in Bremen, Germany. In the AgriCEM project, we are the prime contractor and our role is the general management of the project. Also, we have a technical package on the creation of the simulated dataset.
What are the general challenges in simulating representative data of future missions? What aspects did you need to consider for the agricultural sugar beet use case?
Simulating satellite data is a very complex task, as you have a lot of things to consider. The movement in orbit of the satellite, the different types of instrument, the atmospheric conditions, etc. In addition to that, the data that we're simulating is for missions that don't exist yet. So we don't have any reference for the satellites that we are simulating, namely CHIME and LSTM. In the case of CHIME, we have a very good knowledge of the instrument as OHB, as we are also building the actual instrument. But we can make assumptions based on our engineering knowledge and on past experiences of what we can expect from such an instrument. And with this knowledge, we simulate the data. The other challenge specific for the agricultural case is to obtain the ground reference data and have an input scene for our simulation. For this, there are two options, either to use proxy data, for example, from an airborne campaign, but these are very expensive and have the limitation that you also use another instrument which will introduce some uncertainties in your data. Or you use a vegetation model. This is what we are doing. Here you need experts who have domain knowledge and help us parameterize the data so that it is representative. And you have to collect data in the field and retrieve some samples, measure them. And for this, you have a lot of practical challenges. Where you do it, how you do it, and also to have the right conditions. For example, you need to have good weather to do so.
What are the main challenges in developing methods for crop stress detection?
First of all, you need to define what stress is and which type of stress affect a certain type of crop and what is their impact. For this, you need domain knowledge and exchange with experts, and you also need to gather data to support this knowledge. Of course, this is difficult because on the one hand, you want to have data where you can see the stress, but actual farmers don't want to have stress in their fields. So you have to be a bit lucky, but also have the right setup in your measurement campaign. Then you need to have modeling experts in the selection of the models. And here you have to consider things like scalability and how precisely the model can describe your stress situation. If you have a more generic model, it will be applicable to different situations and scenarios, but maybe it's not as precise as a very specific model for a certain area or a certain crop, which then needs a lot of work to adapt to another scenario. Last but not least, you need to have an exchange with the stakeholders in order to understand their needs and translate them into requirements. And this is very important also in our project. And for this, we are talking to the experts from KWS and the farmers in top farms in order to understand their point of view and integrate it in our work.
What lessons from AgriCEM will guide future EO-based agricultural support projects?
The lesson that we learned is that the exchange with the stakeholder is the most important thing that gives the most precious input. And it's a process that goes both ways. So especially at the beginning of the project, we need a lot of input from them to understand their needs. And some aspects of the things that we can model are not that interesting for them, but other that we didn't consider maybe are. So this is a very important exchange, but it goes both ways. Also, for us, it's important to disseminate and communicate what we can do with this data, the information that we can provide. As for any emerging technologies, there is not the knowledge and maybe not already the demand of having this kind of information that can be very helpful and will be very helpful in the future. And for this, the framework of projects like the Sentinel user preparation projects are very important, as the information that you gain from the satellite data in the bigger picture and link it to the use of other technologies. For example, autonomous vehicles, automatic irrigation system, and other sources of information where stakeholders take the necessary insight to take actionable decisions. So this was the most important lesson for us in this project.
Why was KWS selected as champion user for the project?
Well, first of all, we selected sugar beet as our target crop within this project, as it is a very important agricultural commodity in Europe. It grows in several European countries, but at the same time it is underrepresented in studies, in scientific publications, compared to, for example, wheat or maize. And for this reason, this crop was selected, and KWS, as a seed producing company, has a lot of expertise in this field. They do a lot of research activities as well. We know from conferences that they have strong expertise in remote sensing and work with hyperspectral data. For these reasons, they are the ideal partner to provide both field data, other important data, and agronomic expertise.
What do you appreciate about KWS as a partner in the project?
KWS is very open and proactive within our project. They are very interested in the progress of our developments, and are always there to support us, for example, by providing data and also their expertise that is very useful for us, both in the production of the simulated dataset, but also in the development of the retrieval methods and the definition of the stress products.
To what extent are the datasets acquired in our sugar beet fields important to the outcome of the project?
We use the data for different activities. On the one hand, for the production of a synthetic dataset containing hyperspectral chime data and thermal LSTM data. Then they are also very important in the development of our retrieval methods, especially for the development of stress products.